Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be back with another young Indian, part of the Voice of the Young series. Right now, we have with us Deepesh Pathak. Let's listen to him. Over to you, Deepesh.
So, hello everyone. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Mathur for giving me this opportunity to be a guest in the Vidped. And past few months, I was following these videos of amazing speakers from different fields who were coming here on this platform and speaking about their fields and about the anomalies in their fields and various other topics. So I was quite fascinated by the fashion that this thing which Dr. Mathur started. Thank him on behalf of everyone for providing us this huge opportunity to us. And talking about myself, my name is Deepesh Pathak, and I basically hail from capital of Uttar Pradesh, Lucknow, also known as city of Nawabs. And my hometown is Gorakhpur, a city in Uttar Pradesh. But after third standard, I moved to Lucknow as my father is a civil servant, PCS officer. So he was transferred to head office, and our family moved to Lucknow. So from I did my schooling from Lucknow only, and after that I did bachelor's in technology in biotechnology domain from Lovely Professional University, Jalandhar, Punjab. And currently I'm pursuing my master's in public health from Indian Institute of Public Health, Gandhinagar. So that would be a short academic background about me, which I told, right?
Okay, I'm on mute. Tell us more.
Uh,
This public health and tech,
I
how
would
this changed.
start from the yeah,
Yeah.
very basic from my schooling days. So when I moved to Lucknow, I was a kind of guy like in fourth, fifth, sixth standard. I would say I would describe myself as a very shy kind of guy who would basically rely only on his academic studies and no co-curricular activities. But after class 8, things started to change. I started participating in many activities. I was fond of debate. I was really good in art, drawing and painting. So started participating in various competitions. So from that, things started to change. And I'm kind of guy who doesn't have a soft corner for mathematics. I was good in mathematics, but you have to provide a push to me if you have to make me solve sums or anything. So I pre-decided that I will not take mathematics further in my 10 plus 2. And I was having interest in biology, chemistry, biology for my 11th and 12th, and my optional was physical education. So I did my 10 plus 2 from biology, and I got really good marks in my 12th boards. I got 92.3%, and I was there in the Directors Wall of Fame. My photograph was there. After that, I decided that I don't want to further pursue my career into medical field,
Okay.
be it MBBS, BDS, or anything. But I was really fascinated by I heard this term, biotech. It was in our NCRT book only of class 12th. There was a small section of biotechnology. So I was really fascinated by this term. So I started like searching and asking to people and guys around me that what is basically biotechnology. I got a brief gist about this thing. And to further pursue my bachelor's in this thing into this domain. So there was two options for me to pursue BSc or BTech in biotechnology. So as I talked to many of my teachers also, many of my friends also, I came to know about this basic uh, that if you'll do BTech, you will get many more opportunities as compared to BSc or any other. And I was also like charged up by the thing that in BTech I would get a technological exposure of biotech. So I decided to do BTech biotechnology for my bachelor's. And I took admission in Lovely Professional University in biotechnology domain, where I learned many things. The university was quite diversified During my biotechnology period, we also started a club named Bioaffinities, which was totally dedicated to biotechnology and biosciences. And I was part of many other clubs also. I was head of a social media committee in Blood Club. I was head of content writing team in one of the club. So there I got many opportunities. During my final year of BTech, I did a 4-month internship in a pharma company called Trigate Life Sciences. And after that, I want search field. So I did my dissertation, final year dissertation project in CSIR-IITR, that is Indian Institute of Toxicology Research Lab, under Chief Scientist Dr. VP Sharma sir. So I did that into domain regulatory toxicology. And basic of my project was quality management systems. So from there only, I started developing a bit interest into management field. And after doing my engineering, I take examination, that is GATE examination. But from there only, I like some or the other way in my mind, I was sure, not sure, I would say, but there was a thing that I can pursue masters into management also. So I started searching that I was not sure in which field I have to pursue masters, be it core tech or be it management. So then I came to know about this thing, public health. I was like in a very superficial way, I was not sure. So in the same way, I started talking to some of the seniors in LinkedIn who were there in Indian Institute of Public Health and various other public health institutes. So this thing, I found it very fascinating as it contained all the elements related to tech, some parts of sociology also, some parts of like healthcare management also. So I found that this thing will be a perfect thing for me, which I really want to pursue. So I decided and I started preparing for gave examination and qualified the interview. And currently I'm pursuing Masters of Public Health from IIPG Gandhinagar.
So tell us about what fascinated you a bit more about public health.
Public
Anything
health,
special? Yeah, that you remember?
one thing which I would say that I wanted to work with the government. One thing which that was clear that not for the other in my life, I would love to work with government sector. And in public health, basically you are working with government only, whether you are in private or because anything you have to do, you should inform the government. Many projects are there. If you are joining any NGO also or any organization also, majority of the portions are you are doing in collaboration with government. And secondly, you are doing this at community level rather than doing this in clinical level. And as my yeah, one more thing I would like to add. Public health, if my bachelor is engineering or specifically biotech engineering. So then I talked to many of my seniors who were there, who were done biotechnology engineering. And they told me that this is a very sweet combination, this biotech engineering and public health. So public health, this is a myth that only doctors or MBBS guys can only pursue public health and no other field, because this is a wild field. You need want to be a good public health professional. So that actually, these two reasons are the sole reasons why I chose this public health domain. First of all, wanted to work with the government, and secondly, to work in an innovative way towards community rather than working at the clinical level.
And it has worked for you well, rather well, right? You're enjoying it.
Currently, I'm enjoying it, learning many new things, many new activities, practical exposure. I'm enjoying it.
How about the fellow students? How's the difference between those students in your biotech and here?
Can you, sir, repeat the question?
How's the difference between the students you had, your friends at biotech and at public health?
Difference, I would say that here in public health, I have got students from various domains, MBBS, BDS, pharma, BSc Biotech, microbiology, biotechnology. So we share our ideas. We do collaborative approach to solve any problem. A lot of opportunity to do group projects, and in group projects there are students from every fields. So it's nice to work with students with so much of exposure and so much of ideas from different backgrounds. And in my biotech also it was good, but actually the students were having ideas of basic biology or biotechnology. So the approach was only linear, but here we can provide non-linear approach to solve any problem.
What are
And
the
really
problems
good
that
for me.
what are the problems that you have been taught or thought about in your projects? Just to get an example.
Okay, so I would give recently only I worked, mm, we created a project in my public health domain. Project management was a core subject and we chose a problem state. So I would like to quote that example and I would like to explain further taking that example. So there was an activity we have a thing in which we have to make conceptual framework, logical framework, taking a problem, major public health problem statement. So I was leading a group in which, including me, 9 other members were there. So the team of 10. So we took the major global public health issue, which I think many of us are not providing attention to, is suicide. So we took a problem that suicide, high prevalence of suicide rates in Sikkim. So many of us were shocked that why Sikkim cultural heritage and everything that then also it is having such a high prevalence of suicide. 43.1% is the rate. So we did that project, and the one thing which found that what is the root cause for this problem or be any other public health problem is lack of training to public to professionals, lack of healthcare professionals. At some point of the time, I would say lack of funds and equity and equality and accessibility is the major issues. Like if we see sick, the terrain is really difficult, the geographical areas. So there is a lack of accessibility of public health professional, to be precise, mental health professionals. So I would say that was the root cause of our problem. We tried to develop some solutions based on the data which we got in that problem. And I think that project was really appreciated by our faculty members also, what we tried to provide. I also tried to provide one innovative solution also, that there was product, the suicide alarm rods, which we can install in our fans. So it starts beeping if the weight is more than 20 kgs. So, and in Sikkim, we found out that many research were done. We found out that maximum suicides are through hanging, 94%. So if we provide these type of innovative solutions, tech-based solutions in public health, I think we can conquer major problems.
Which age group or group is the most affected by this in Sikkim?
Sir, age group,
Age
if I would
group or
say,
subgroup or whatever group that stands out
because
to
in
you.
our project also we took a target population and our population was the age group 15 to 29, which we took. So this was the major because one other thing which was prevalent in that area was social isolation or stigma or taboo related to these problems. And many other public health that they say we should start counseling or we should start supporting students and we should start regulating and taking care of their public health as well as their mental health, physical health, everything from school level, basic school level. If we want to continue this intervention from at the young adolescent age level, young adult group, we should start the intervention at early school level. So that was the thing which we found.
Okay. So when did you, do you have any idea when this issue started? Like 30 years ago, 20 years ago? Was it always there? I mean, what do you have any history on it?
Sir, basically of Sikkim, if I would say, like I did research for Sikkim only. So this problem was there. If we look towards 10 years records, this problem was prevalent. Some point of the time it tipped because of some government policies or some other thing. But basically, there was no such solid policy or no such action
So it was not
taken
like a
in
cultural
Sikkim
problem
to
of
bring a
30.
major change.
It was not a problem of 30 years ago. It is a more recent issue.
Recent issue, yes, sir. Because
Yeah.
recently suicide rates are one of the thing is academic pressure also, which
Yeah.
students are facing globally.
Yeah.
And I think this needs a solid action plan. Many countries have adopted also
Mm,
many innovative action plans,
mm,
and they got very good results also. So I think India should also focus on mental health also
mm. Okay. All right. Let's continue on some other issue. We have
if
heard
they want.
enough on your dissertation. Or your project. Let's continue, please.
Okay, so I would like to discuss about my dissertation period of my BTech final year project,
Yeah.
where I got opportunity to work with a very renowned scientist, chief scientist in toxicology, Indian Institute of Toxicology Research, chief scientist Dr. VP Sharma sir. So we were basement system, that is 170252 the guideline, which clearly states that you have to maintain quality-based laboratories, testing laboratories, and there should be a proper accreditation. So my project was basically to check and to regulate that whether these laboratories are maintained according to QMS guidelines, whether the audit is being done properly or not. And for that, after completing all my documentation process, we went on a case study to a very famous milk booth farm of our area, and anomalies related to the thing which we studied or the guidelines that were there. They were following it, but not up to that mark which they should follow. So that was the thing at ground level when we see there are many gaps and many voids are there which we need to fill with, be it in any field. So that was the thing which I found out.
Are you aware of the problems in Ranbaxy labs some 10 years ago and so on, or that's something that you aren't familiar with?
I don't have, sir,
Okay,
I
never
don't
mind.
have any idea.
All right, fine. Okay, then leave that. Okay, tell us more about what you want to talk about.
Okay, so can I ask you any question?
Yeah,
So basically, I want to ask two questions from you.
please.
Like, what was your experience at MIT
Yeah,
and World Bank when you were working there?
yeah.
And do you think that India is 10 years, past 10 years, India has excelled in public health, or India is now improving in terms of poverty or anything, according to you? And what are the other things we should approach? Any
Okay.
innovative approach or any policy which we
Yeah,
should
okay, fine.
introduce?
All right, so let's answer your question there. Okay, you have to remember that we are talking about very, very long ago. Okay. And the world was completely different at that time. Okay. So basically, we had no knowledge about anything outside our local area. Okay. So, for
Yes.
example, to get admission in a PhD abroad, you have to take the GRE, right?
Yeah.
I, I had never seen a GRE before I took it, because where to see it? There was no
Yes.
place, no books, nothing. It was not something, not in, maybe in IIT there were a lot of people taking it, and so maybe they had a couple of copies or something, whatever. But in our area, in our group, there was no such thing. So we just took it. Okay, so it was based on a lot of lack of knowledge. Okay. We had very, very limited knowledge of what the courses were taught. How would you know? There was no place. So you just said, okay, fine, it's the top university in the world. Let's apply, see if we get in. And if you get in, let's go. we'll figure it out once we get there. So actually, everything was a big shock because you had no idea whatsoever of what is happening. Okay, so you go to a new place, it takes you time to unlearn it, understand it, adjust to it. And for me, to be with so many engineers all of a sudden, that was a big shock. Okay, because engineers have a different way of talking, different way of
Yeah,
thinking,
absolutely.
and we in the humanities have a different way. So it was a shock. I took time to adjust to it. And of course, Boston's very cold and you don't have the money, you're freezing. All these things were there. Food was completely different. There was no Indian food in the US at that time. It's
Yeah,
only local food.
yeah.
Even yogurt was not available in the market. So yeah, there was one Indian store far away, but how to get there? So anyway, there were a lot of Indian students, many of them, most of them engineering. So it was all right. We could have a good life and manage. And the courses we were prepared to study those kinds of courses. So yeah, they were teaching differently and all that, but it was fine. There was no real big issue in terms of catching up with those courses. Okay, so fine. No, good. So good. So, but then, I was always been a little bit outside the norm, right from class 9. So for me, I did get a teaching job after my PhD, but
Oh,
I realized that I cannot really hold a job. I can work, but I can't hold a job because, they'll tell you to do this and do that, and you can't do it your way. And also, I finally decided that, look, I'm going to quit. I'm going to be self-employed, whatever that means. No experience, no knowledge, nobody to consult. It's not like today. This is approximately 1986. There's no internet, there's nothing, right? So whom do you ask? Nobody. So you just do it yourself. Okay, so fine. So anyway, it did work for me in the sense that people hired me and they used to be happy with hiring me and they used to let me do things as I wanted to. Okay, so it was fine. And even at the World Bank, it was all, what should I say? You can't, in those days, you can't even think of today. Okay. So actually, I used to not work for the World Bank. I used to work in the US uh, utility regulation, meaning,
oh,
what they call the electricity regulatory commissions in the
oh,
States. So I used to be a consultant
okay,
to
okay.
them. Okay. And it was very good money. So I was happy with, young child and wife and all. It was fine. I didn't want to work too hard. I wanted to spend a lot of time with the family. And I thought maybe I should work for the World Bank also as a consultant. No plans, just okay, fine. So I write some letters and people say, come and see. And then they say, fine, we'll hire you. Okay. I asked one of them now that what was it? How come you decided? He says, Subodh, don't you think I made the right decision? I also make decisions just like that. And fine, I saw your face. I said, fine, okay, good. So it was fine. They didn't hire me to do, initially, the first time was to do something which they wanted done. And after that, it was basically, you think of what we should do. So it was a very nice, but I never took a job because I said, look, I can't take a job. Okay, I will be here, I'll work with you. And I had a contract for some 30 years, every year as de facto staff. But I said, look, I can't take a job, guys. If I don't want to come for a meeting, I won't come. You can fire me if you want, but I'll come if I want to. If I don't want to come, I won't come. I'm your consultant. You can do what you like. Take it. You go ahead. So it was like that. And, then I decided at some point to go back to teaching because I thought, working with the people in the World Bank, that we were not teaching non-economists properly. because they were all ignorant. I said, what? Don't you guys understand this? They say, what? Where did we ever learn this? I said, okay, fine. I'll go back to teach. I'll teach non-economists. So I did that. And so it has been like a journey, to create new things.
Yeah.
And I went back to teach, and they said, what book are you going to teach from? I said, no book, because I can't agree with anybody that any book is right for non-economists. I'm going to write it from beginning to end. My own notes will be there. I'll distribute them and all. And they say, it's a lot of work. You're just teaching one course. I said, look, if I'm going to do it, I can't do it wrong. Okay. I have to get this thing done.
Yeah.
Because we are just cheating these students. We are teaching them these stupid things.
Yeah.
They don't understand a word of it. What's the point? So anyway, I did that. And so I keep changing what I'm doing this. I mean, I had creativity in me from very young age. It's nothing to do with me. And just like that. And also very, let us say, very educated family background. Okay, so that was the big start to help. That look, whatever it is that you do, just look at your grandparents and what they achieved back then.
Yeah.
And say, all right.
Absolutely.
So anyway, so it is fine. And I'm doing something in the US in the economic legal field, which I didn't even know of 5 or 6 years ago. So people still say, look, you don't have to know things. You just come and think it through. Think it through with us, okay? And then you can, so that's part of it. And then I began to focus a bit more on India, and through LinkedIn and Quora, I was writing since 2016, connected with a lot of young people. And after the pandemic, that gave me a chance to launch this series, because unlike most people of my age, I had good contacts with young people. I knew what they're like and so on. So it was okay. Anyway, to answer your second question, I think, India has done quite well, with a big but to it. You cannot finish that statement without adding a big but. Okay. And the big but is that the prosperity is very unequally divided, and that the people at the bottom really don't have a ladder up, because our schools in the rural areas are lousy, the health system is lousy. You will find out yourself in public health that we fail in the rural health clinics, we fail in the rural education. So if you are born in a poor landless labor family, you don't stand a chance. You just don't stand a chance. And we don't have any way to address it. We are always talking about fast trains and metro and, such things. But those poor people, they're never going to take a train. What is the fast train going to do for them? And okay, fine, the goods will travel faster, but they can't afford any of those goods anyway.
Right.
And those goods, so we have a huge unemployment problem. Huge. Okay. So 3 years ago, I wrote a book, India 2047. And in it was a recommendation that we should develop our small cities, small towns. Why? Because our focus has been only on villages and large cities. And we have neglected the small towns. And here it's possible that we can create jobs and increase incomes so that people who leave the villages can go there, not have to go and live in slums. Because now the large cities in India are unlivable. Okay, you go to Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore, everybody is writing on LinkedIn, traffic. And they are saying, oh, this is like, I said, guys, there's no solution. There's actually going to be no solution. Please realize this. And if possible, put some of your people in another town, some group, move it, because there's going to be no solution. This is how it is going to be. So we are stuck in a terrible quality of life, air pollution, shortage of water, traffic. So if you are at home, you're fine. You can get everything ordered and come to your home. This is great. But if you step out, it's no fun. Okay. So we need to
Right.
develop our small towns, and I'm not a very practical guy. So we're about to form, after 3 years of looking at things, we defined small town to mean 1 lakh population in 2011 census. And we focused on 3 states, Rajasthan, West Bengal, and Odisha. And we have been to one town in West Bengal 4 times. And to understand how these places work, what's going on. We are not in a rush to implement. And we will go to a small town in Odisha in December, our team, not me. I'm not a practical guy. So the practical people will assess the opportunities and the problems, how to remove the constraints, and how to take advantage of the opportunities with the aim of increasing incomes and creating jobs. So this is my personal contribution and there's nobody there in those towns. They have some government schemes which run throughout the state. They are not particularly focused on the small towns, and they are everywhere. But we will work with those schemes, but our idea is to bring our own knowledge, technology, and youthful energy to these places. A lot of people in India are willing to spend some effort and to catalyze growth, to see what is growing there, even a tiny bit, see if we can make it grow. Whether it is in agriculture or in horticulture, or it is in small micro enterprise, make them grow with the knowledge that we can bring from outside. Because they really don't. And we are trying, for example, to bring to the local polytechnic or engineering college students. Let us agree that they are not the top students. They are maybe not even the B students. But among them, maybe 10 or 15 are very good. They just can't leave their home. They don't have the money or something. It's India. We just can't leave unless you have a certain income and family.
Right.
So if they can't leave, they're there. We will teach them, help them learn from the internet, AI, ML, blockchain, crypto, all these courses. We are creating the curriculum, and they will learn it with our guidance, but they have to learn it themselves. So we are bringing the new technologies like that. And we will also, so anyway, so I'm not just saying I'm critical. I'm saying that, look, governments in India, state and union, have pretty much reached the limit of what they can do. They really can't do much more. And if we have to get things moving, non-profit groups must move in and do the work. You don't have to fight the government. And the problem is that at this time, we are not doing the very basics. Those have been done. The very basics are pretty uniform. Now to move it to the next level, each place is different. If you have a national scheme, it works A place, it doesn't work in B. If you have a statewide scheme, look at Rajasthan. People think it's the desert state. But 2/3 of Rajasthan is not desert. Right? You go to Maharashtra, it has at least 3 or 4 different parts. You go to Bengal, it has at least 3 parts. And you make the scheme which is everywhere in the state, it doesn't work. And the governments don't have the flexibility or the ability to actually create very, very local schemes, because then they face, oh, you're discriminating against this, you're discriminating. So they say, no, same, one size fits all. Okay, let's have the scheme. Doesn't work well. So we are trying to actually make the schemes work well in each place. Okay, this is what the government can do. What is missing? Let's step in. And what the government cannot think of, we have a whole set of people.
You are trying to focus on equality and equity both.
And incomes. It must increase incomes. not just
Yeah.
equity. I need jobs. I need jobs.
Job, yeah,
Uh,
correct.
because everybody except the government says it's the biggest problem in India for young people, especially those who don't have much skills.
Yeah,
So how to create jobs for them? My idea is you can, for example, we are going to bring a technology in horticulture to grow fruit in land that is people consider to be not fertile. But we know how to do it.
right.
And we can get, for example, every small place in India has its own food specialty, which the locals are so
Right.
proud. Okay, they're so proud. Okay, fine. So we say, okay, we will teach you how to turn this production of this thing into a modern business, cooperatives, women's cooperatives. Okay, so you make your own version of, like in West Bengal, they say, oh, we make murabba. I say, very good. You make
Yeah.
the murabba, we will teach you how to make it hygienically, how to market. And there are a lot of people in India know these things, it's not like
Yeah.
something we don't know. We know. These days, we know. 40 years ago, no. Today, yes. And internet is there. Everybody can communicate and talk. So fine, we will bring and we can even tell by video, no? It's not a big deal. So in these towns, you have not, you can have
Right.
20, it's not 100% accurate and all, but fine, it works, it's not a problem. So we will set up these women's cooperatives to simply say, you take your local food specialty and we will help you sell it in the nearby towns. So this is the approach that, and of course they should be able to borrow money from the government. The government has hundreds of schemes, right? You do this, you do. So, but we are not focused
Right.
on
Correct.
health and education. Okay, so that's my answer to your second question,
Okay.
that the time has come. In fact, that's clear from and I'm going to
Yeah.
now upgrade my book. Since last year I wrote, Sanjeev, please hang on, okay? We are not finished yet. Okay, so last year I wrote what I called as the goals for India for 2047. Okay, non-official goals, they're my goals. Non-official development goals for 2047. And I will, Sanjeev, can you please drop out for the moment, come back later. Okay. So I'm going to merge those goals with my earlier book and come out with a manifesto for India 2047 so that young people can have something to see that these are the goals. This is how we will achieve those goals. Right now, there's a lot of talk, but that talk is not, it's very scattered. We will build fast trains.
Yeah.
But what is the goal? Oh no, it's a good thing by itself. Well, not everything is a good thing by itself. You have to have some national goals,
Yeah. Right.
right? And is this going to
Correct.
create jobs, or is this going to give convenience? What is it that you are achieving? Where is your top level goal? So I have written those goals and we have had quite a few discussions about it. Now my job is to add the material and maybe have a 50-60 page easily readable book which lays out my private version. There's nothing official about it. I call them non-official development goals. I was thinking of calling them Mr. Mathur's development goals, but that doesn't sound right. So, okay, so that's basically what I'm after. Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's continue, Deepesh. We have talked too much. Let's hear from you.
Yeah. So any other particular thing you would like to want me to discuss?
Well,
Ask?
I don't want to discuss, I just want to say it in very brief that the biggest, we used to talk about the shock to India, say from oil prices.
Yeah.
Okay, or
Absolutely.
we shock of economic meltdown in USA. The
Yeah.
biggest shock coming to India is climate change. It is the biggest shock. We have to change our economic approach, our economic model, because if we don't focus on what we call as adaptation to climate change,
Yeah,
we are
right.
still involved in fighting climate change with solar and wind and things like that. But that's
Yeah,
not going to be enough. We need to understand that, what is it, last year or 2 years ago, 1/3 of Pakistan was flooded. And those people are still living in tents. Now that's Pakistan,
right.
that they're still living in tents. So don't go by that. But nature does not differentiate between India and Pakistan. I'm sorry. They don't need a visa to come to India, right? Those floods, they have already come to Odisha, Kerala, so on. And if they come and flood even 10% of India, then we have a huge problem on our hands. And are we ready for it? Answer is no.
No,
No, we're not ready for it because we are still saying, let's put solar panels. Now, solar panels I was putting in 1995 around the world. Solar panels are last century thinking. Stop thinking solar panels. Stop thinking what crops to grow, what crops will be resilient, what crops will come back, what jobs will remain. And if you are going to go away from coal, then what will those coal miners in Jharkhand do for a living? What will
right.
they do for a living? They are living only on the coal mines, right? And you say, okay, in 20 years, we will shut down the coal mines. Okay, fine, 20 years. But have you prepared any job scheme for them? What will they do? It's a poor state. Jharkhand's
Right.
poor state, and those people are coal miners. That's all they know. They've been doing for 100 years, 50 years, something like that. They are not skilled or trained. And now you tell them your coal mine's going to close. And okay, fine, we will cover it and make it a beautiful garden. Right? We'll plant a beautiful garden on top of it. But what are these people supposed to do? There's no job for them. So we are not ready to transition in any way,
Right.
physically, financially, job wise, all that. I'm also going to write something on that, that we have to think how this big
Yeah,
climate
absolutely.
change can be handled, because it will keep coming every year. It's not something that, okay, it came once, there's a monsoon problem, 10 years now we won't have a problem. This is going to be there every year, and we don't know what
Every
it will be, something or the other. So that's my thinking. And public health, I leave to experts like you, though I am writing a book, I'll tell you, on economics
okay.
and public policy. And in it, there will be a chapter on public health. But it'll be a controversial chapter, so I don't want to discuss it now.
No,
I've not yet written it.
but
I've not
I'm
yet.
already excited to read that
I
book.
have not yet written it.
Okay, okay.
It is a chapter on public health. Right now, I'm chapter 8. That is maybe chapter 10 or 11. Okay, on public health. So there's a. But let's leave that out for the moment because I've not written it.
Sure, sir.
But the whole theme of my book is about public policy. Public health is just one part of it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, good. So Deepesh, I have talked too much in this show. Thank you for letting me do it. But let's conclude by listening to you.
Okay, so great opportunity, sir, which you gave me to talk on your show. Like nowadays, there's nothing for us students or youth from various different fields to come into this kind of thing and talk without any hesitation about their fields and about listen to other professionals also about their experiences. So that's a very great initiative which you took and which you are working on and which I
Yeah.
think amazingly well. So I would like to thank you, and I am sure you're also enjoying listening to various kinds of people from different fields about their experiences.
Well,
And
it's more than enjoyment. Okay.
yeah,
I'll tell you what it is. It's a rebellion against my generation.
Right. Right.
You guys are stuck in the old ways. You know,
Correct.
they don't understand today's youth at all, because they think, oh, they're all in wasting time on TikTok, Reels, social media. Why aren't they doing real work? And
Right.
they struggle with new technology, new ways, etc. And they don't let the young people speak. Don't give them a
Right.
chance. So I said, hell with it. I'm going to change this. It's my revolution. I'm going
Right.
to change it. Look, you guys, learn to listen. Learn to listen. You don't know anything compared. In our times, we knew nothing, as I told you. Okay. Young people knew nothing. So they think even today, the young people, they know nothing, because though the stuff is there, they don't use any of it. They are doing some Instagram or Facebook or whatever it is that they do, which is actually not the truth. Which is actually, so there's a
Right.
lot of bias and a lot of, I don't have time for social media. I say, what? You guys don't have time for social media? I have 30,000 followers, 32,000 followers on LinkedIn. So I'm in touch with young people, and you are not.
Right.
And you are telling them you are the future of the country, but please keep quiet. So I said, okay, fine. This has got to end. We need to tell them that, look, you can talk, you can speak, you have a platform. So it's a revolution in my head. I need to, just as I want to change the face of small town India, I need to change the options for young people. Like before you was a second year BA student, very hesitant, very nervous, but he's empowered, because the
Yeah.
first time
Right.
he's speaking like this, he has to choose his own topic, his own words. Nobody's telling him what to
Absolutely.
speak on. It is an empowering thing. And if you empower the young people, they will be more productive.
Yeah.
So this
And I
is,
think in that way only this can work, that you come here, you talk not so in a formal way. You are open to everything. You can talk about anything related to your field, related to anything related to your society or the problems which are currently going on. And that's a very great initiative. So I
well,
really appreciate that.
yeah, I'm hoping that it has a great impact, that, we make this a permanent feature of life,
Yeah, sure, sir.
and we have a way in which people are assured that, okay, I'm in 1920, I will have a chance to speak. I mean, you have a right. And I say to you, my slogan now is a voice for all.
Was
A voice for all. It was not possible with the old technology, I agree,
yeah,
because
sure, sir.
those days we
Right.
didn't have the options. Okay, fine. That was not possible. So it was a voice for the elite. Okay, I agree with it. I'm not critical of it. What I'm saying is, today's technology, we don't have that constraint. So why should we stick
Right.
to the old ways? We
Absolutely.
should. Okay. So thank you, Deepesh. Sanjeev had already joined in. So
Yeah, yeah.
I have the next one in 5 minutes. Please send me a
Sure, sir. Sure.
photograph and write up if you haven't
Yeah.
already done it. And
Okay,
keep
sir.
in
Okay.
touch. Keep in touch. Okay.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Okay, fine. All right. Thank you. Let's
Thank
end
you,
it
sir.
here. Okay.
Sure,
I'll be back with another young person or an
sure, sir.
expert soon.
Thank
Bye till then, everybody.
Sure, sir.